I feel super high.
What's good, y'all? How you doing today? Welcome to another Patreon only upload, or if you happen to be watching this later on in December, welcome to 12 days of story time. So I plan to release this video way later, so shout outs to you guys who are already on the Patreon. Shout outs to those of you guys who don't care to join my Patreon because you don't love me enough. It's like, nah, let me stop. I know times are hard right now. However, I mean, the Patreon, it's only $5 a month. You get dedicated uploads, early access. You get to know the tea before anyone else does. I mean, it's worth it. It's worth it. I'm just saying, join the Patreon. So as you guys can see by the title, we're gonna be talking about the worst bachelorette trip I ever participated in. Now, I waited a while before I decided to do this video. It's been about a week since I came back from this trip, and it took me a while to decide if I was gonna go ahead and film this. Like, literally, I sat down and started to film this last week, and I was in just such a terrible mood still that I stopped filming, and then I was like, nah, I'm gonna film this because it needs to be talked about. So let me just start off by saying, I know that the people that went on this trip with me are going to see this video, and some of them are gonna feel some type of way, but I don't owe any single person on this trip any loyalty except the bride, because the bride is my friend. Many of you guys watching this already know who my friend is. Her name is Dessy, aka Dessy. I did upload a wedding dress try on with her a few months back. Damn, maybe it was a year ago, whatever the case may be. So I can't necessarily hide her identity, and honestly, she's the only one I care about in this situation. However, I will say, at the time that I'm filming this video, I am genuinely annoyed with her. I'm annoyed with every single person in this situation, with the exception of probably one bridesmaid, and that's probably because we essentially went through the same exact thing. I understand that the bride is annoyed with every single one of us, but to be quite honest with you, she doesn't know exactly what's going on, and that's partly due on all of our faults for not being open with her about what was going on, but that's because certain bridesmaids thought it made sense to not clue her into what was going on, to not stress her out. But I do believe that she should have been told about what was going on, and none of this would have happened. I also want to point out that a lot of people like to make the bride and the groom feel like they're some sort of lords. I don't like it. The bride and the groom are not God, and I'm just gonna say that flat out. And when I get married, I don't want anyone treating me like God. I want to know exactly what the fuck is going on. I want to know if people are being left out. I want to know if people are being bullied. I want to know if people are being mistreated in any shape or form, because I want the people that I want to be included in my nuptials to be treated fairly, to be treated with respect, and to feel included in every single piece of that ceremony. Because one, I don't even like people around me like that. Two, I don't even want a big ceremony, but if I'm going to have a big ceremony with all the shebang and all of that, and I have people included, I don't want them to feel any type of way. I don't want them to not be having a good time at all. So now that I say all of that, y'all already know that everything that I mentioned was the complete opposite. So that's the main reason I'm making this video, because honestly, I still genuinely feel some type of way, and I need all of you guys watching this, if you ever get married, if you are in any type of wedding process, to literally not do any of the bullshit that happened, okay, throughout this entire process, okay? So it's gonna be a long one. Get your tea, get your snacks, get everything you need, because it's gonna be a lot, and you're gonna be in for a lot of drama. I have my iced coffee. Maybe by the time December hits, I won't want to release this, but I'm sure I'm gonna release this. So let's just say that I met Dessy way back. She's one of the very few people that I met on the internet that I genuinely, truly fuck with the long way. Like, I love her. She's one of my closest friends, and like, it's to the point where like, I'm cool with her family. I'm really cool with her sisters and all of that. And like, to be honest, of all the people that I know, I trust her more than most people that I know. She is truly really a genuine person. She has a really great heart, and it bothers me that so many people take advantage of her and so many people don't really care about her, and that in many situations she doesn't really speak up for herself. To be honest, when I found out she was getting married, I'm not even gonna lie, I already was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting to see, one, who she picks to be in her wedding, and two, how it ends up panning out, because I know what type of person Dessy is, okay? So I've known Dessy since I first started my YouTube career, and believe it or not, Dessy is one of the very few people that I actually met directly off the internet that I actually genuinely like, because y'all already know I've talked about it numerous times that I don't like most people on the internet. I hate influencers. They piss me the fuck off. A lot of them are fake as fuck. They're not what they seem. But Dessy is literally one of the very few people that I met off the internet that I genuinely fuck with, like 10 toes down, love her to death. So I will say straight up, shout outs to Dessy and shout outs to Becca, because I know they're watching this video. Hey y'all, hey bitches. I was so happy for her. She's been in too many shitty ass relationships, and Becca is definitely A1. She's definitely one of my favorite people. And I will say, when it comes to a lot of my friends being in relationships, I don't like anybody that my friends end up in relationships with. And it has nothing to do with me. It's the fact that a lot of them are trash, and I'm usually right about them. And it has nothing to do with my Capricornism. It's just that I always happen to be right. But Becca, she's it, okay? She that bitch, okay? And they are literally the cutest couple ever. So when it came time for her to pick who was going to be in her wedding, she approached me and she asked if I wanted to be her bridesmaid or if I wanted to be her host. So if you guys are not aware, I do host events. I dance for events. I do a lot of different things. I'm literally a multi-talented person. And I was like, girl, I'm your girlfriend. Why the fuck would I want to host your wedding? I'm gonna say straight up right now, I regret being part of this wedding. Nothing against Dessy whatsoever. Everything against these stupid ass bridesmaids. And I'm just gonna say flat out, if I could turn back the hands of times and be like, yeah, girl, I'll just host, I don't want nothing to do with it, I would have said that. Because if I would have known the shit that was waiting for me at the door, I would have been so much happier being the MC of this wedding. And here's why. So engagement party comes, everything goes off without a hitch. Nothing seems to be too big of a deal. But honestly, I will say the first red flag that should have made sense to me was the fact that none of us knew who each other was. None of us were really introduced to one another. None of us were really put in a huge group chat on Becca's side or on Dessy's side. None of us were really well acquainted. The only people I did know was the maid of honor, which is one of Dessy's cousins, as well as one of the other bridesmaids, which is one of Dessy's sisters. So let's just introduce the bridesmaids. Now, the only real names I'm using is the brides, okay, which is Dessy and Becca. We are not using the real names of anybody else. So we have 4 bridesmaids, which consist of 2 sisters and 2 friends. Now, you guys are probably sitting here like, why is her maid of honor and her matron of honor not her sisters? To be quite honest with you, that has nothing to do with me, but as you guys can tell, there's clearly some family dynamics here that have, again, nothing to do with me. But I don't fuck with my sister. I don't even associate with my sister, so who am I to fucking judge? But clearly she's not as close to her sisters as most people would be. And of course, none of her sisters are married. She is the first one to be married, so none of them could be the matron of honor. So we have the 2 cousins, the matron and the maid of honor. The first cousin, aka the matron of honor, we're gonna name her Suki. The second cousin, aka the maid of honor, we're gonna name her Farah. Now we have the 2 sisters, aka bridesmaids. The first one, we're going to name her Danielle. She is the older sister. And then we have the second sister, aka bridesmaid, we're gonna name her Tasha. Now, we of course have me as another bridesmaid, and then we're gonna have the other friend and bridesmaid. We're going to name her Rochelle. Okay, this is a random name. Now, to be quite honest, nobody really knows each other. I'm only aware of Farah because Farah actually was a subscriber. I actually went to an event with her. I've been to her house before. She had like a surprise birthday party, and I went with her family when they went to go surprise her. Like, I've talked to her a couple times. I have her number. But other than that, her sisters, of course, I've like talked to a couple times because I've been to her house. I've been to family functions cousins. So like I do know her sisters and I do know her cousin, but when it comes to Suki, I ain't never heard of Suki. Rochelle, I met at the wedding dress fitting. But like in terms of us knowing each other, don't nobody really know each other like that. If anything, I'm the only one that has like the most kind of bit of connections, but to be honest, I'm only really cool-ish with Farrah and the bride, aka Dessy. So I'm not gonna lie, it was a little weird because it was like, when are we gonna get introduced to everybody on a formal setting? So I will say on Dessy and Becca's part, we really should have had something where like all of us could have got introduced, like some sort of brunch, some sort of dinner, some sort of get together, because I swear to God, I don't know not a damn person on Becca's side, and I didn't get to learn about anyone on Becca's side until fast forward the bridal shower. And the bridal shower was an entire shit show. So the engagement party was literally about, let me say, a year ago. And you guys are probably like, a year? Yes, a year ago. And now we're fast forwarding to the bridal shower about a year later. And you guys are probably like, a year later? Yes, a year later. So literally for this entire year, there really hasn't been anything except for the planning of the bachelorette party, which has barely been anything. And the only group chat that has been created has been the group chat with just a little lady, which is the bridal part of the entire wedding. There has not been a huge group chat up until later on, which I'm gonna mention, with everybody in it. We don't know who in the world is on Becca's side. I don't know nothing about the bridesmaids, nothing. I don't know nothing about them. So in passing, we talk about the bachelorette, you know, we talk about certain things, which again, I'm gonna mention, but now it's inching into the bridal party situation. Now, this is when things start to get a little zesty, right? So essentially at the same time as the bridal party, let me just say that nobody even knew there was going to be a bridal party, okay? Because at the same time the bridal party is even being thought of, even being mentioned, we're talking about having a bachelorette for Dessy. And we are being told that we're going to New Orleans. Now, I love New Orleans. New Orleans is my favorite city in the US next to Seattle. So, you know, I'm down, like I've been there like 2 times. This would have been my 3rd time going. So they were like, okay guys, would you like to stay in an Airbnb or like to stay in a hotel? And we all vote, like they give us like a Google form or whatever to vote, and I believe a hotel won, and they gave us these choices, and again we all voted, and everybody ends up voting on the Bourbons or Orleans hotel. If any of you guys are from NOLA, you will be like, y'all voted on this hotel? Are y'all fucking nuts? This haunted ass hotel? Nothing to do with me. Now a lot of you guys are probably thinking, well, Ivana, why didn't you say something? You've been there for a long time. Nobody asked me for anything. They did everything on their own. And you guys are gonna see a specific pattern with this, with every single thing that I'm telling you guys. I'm not telling you guys this story in a way that bends anything in my favor. Specifically, how I'm saying it is specifically how it went. Okay, we were given the choices, we voted on the choices. It wasn't like they asked for suggestions. And if any of you guys have been part of a wedding, or if any of you guys just know how women are, you do not want to step on toes, especially when it comes to family. When it comes to family, you never want to sit there and be like, oh, I think this is better. Oh, I suggest this, unless you are asked for an opinion, because next thing you know, people start catching attitudes. And again, we're gonna get to that. So whatever, people voted, whatever the case may be. And mind y'all, I didn't even know the hotel was haunted. We found out the hotel was haunted later, okay? Again, we're gonna get to that. So whatever, we vote on the hotel. We're given the price that we're supposed to pay for said hotel. And honestly, that's the last we hear about this. No excursions, no outline of what we want to do, no outline of what Dessy says that she wants to do. And honestly, I believe we had at least like 6 to 8 months to plan this. That's all we had, for about 6 to 8 months. And if any of you guys have been part of a bachelorette, part of a wedding, whatever the case may be, you would know things like this are planned in advance. And even if you haven't been part of it, you would know things like this should be planned in advance, because we're adults. People have work, people have vacations, people have mans, people have women's, people have things to do. So you shouldn't be planning these things last minute. All we had was, we're going to NOLA, we're going to the Bourbon Orleans Hotel. That's all we knew. And this is how much we gotta pay. That's it. So for months, we're just sitting here on this information. No itinerary is made. No things to do are brought up. No whatever's brought up. Until now, we have Rochelle hitting me up like, hey, do you have any idea what we're gonna be doing? Do you have an idea what they're planning on? Because nobody's brought anything up in the chat. And I'm like, listen, I I don't know. And to be quite honest, it's not looking like this trip about to happen because it's literally like 2 to 3 months. Like, cause at this point it's like June and this trip is supposed to happen in August. So again, if you guys know anything about bachelorettes, y'all, and even if you don't, y'all, just look up TikTok memes, like TikTok little jokes, Instagram jokes. Y'all will be able to see where I'm coming from. Like, this shit is not a game. Like, these things are meticulously planned, and they're meticulously planned for a reason, because if not, they go exactly the way I'm gonna tell y'all this shit ended up happening, okay? You cannot be playing with people's time or money the way that these people played with our time and our money, okay? So I'm like, yo, this shit not about to happen. She about to have a stay bachelorette, like a staycation bachelorette type of deal, because the way that they're not telling us anything, the way that they're not saying anything just doesn't really make any logical sense. I don't know, maybe they just got some extravaganza plan and they just expect us to show up. Like, that's literally what I thought it was, honestly. But hey, maybe not. All of a sudden, you know, Rochelle apparently is going to Dessy and she's complaining about how, you know, she doesn't know what's going on, whatever, but she's also trying to see what Dessy wants. Basically, she's trying to see if she could finesse something and get something done so that we're basically not in New Orleans doing absolutely nothing. So now she starts suggesting things here and there in the chat. I'm like, you know what? Let me just back her up. So now people are starting to see, you know, okay, let's start doing something, let's start saying something. Meanwhile, the sisters have said absolutely nothing in this chat. Okay, like, the sisters have said nothing. AKA Danielle and Tasha have said absolutely nothing in this chat. All right, they're just like, Danielle is in her own little world, and from what I understand, Tasha was not even added to the mix yet. She got added later. So I don't even understand, okay? But you know, we got Suki and Farrah. They're like, okay, yeah, Dessy, she always wanted to do an alligator, whatever. I suggested Pose Nola, which is like a selfie museum, whatever. So we start thinking ideas, and I'm like, okay, this is not gonna be so bad. We got some ideas. All of a sudden, we hear, okay, well, guys, we're gonna be having a bridal shower in July. Where did a bridal shower in July come from? Y'all, when I'm telling y'all, I was thoroughly perplexed that we were having a bridal shower, specifically because bridal showers are typically something that is planned, like specifically, again, months in advance. Like, it's not really something that is planned last minute. So I'm like, we're having a bridal shower? Like, I never heard we was having a bridal shower. And the thing is, it was literally the last day of my it was the day after the last day of my program. If you guys are not aware, I was doing a program with kids, okay, for my job, and that shit was grueling. I was waking up 5 o'clock in the morning every day for 3 straight weeks and getting home at like 6 to 7 o'clock every single day. Those kids were stressing me out, okay? I was dancing for anywhere from 2 to 4 hours every single day. Like, those kids was stressful, and literally the next day was the bridal shower. I was so tired, and like, I was just like, bro, like the next day after the last day of that program, I was like, bro, y'all couldn't pick another day for this? Like, I was so exhausted. I was like, wait, like, y'all had to pick this day? Like, you know, so I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna have to stay in New York then, because the show was actually in Brooklyn. However, Dessy happened to live on the other side of Brooklyn. So I was like, you know what? I had to ask Dessy, like, hey, can I stay at your house? Because like, it doesn't make sense for me to go to New Jersey to come back to New York if I'm already gonna be in Brooklyn. I just have to drive to the other side of Brooklyn, but hey, can I just stay with you? So essentially, I was like, when I'm telling you my body was broken, like, I think I slept for an entire week after that program. Like, I was in so much pain after that like program. Like, I ain't never been that tired. Like, I felt more tired than a cat, and y'all already know ain't nothing, okay, ain't nothing gonna make you more tired than a cat that ain't do nothing, okay? I was so tired. So I ended up having to host this bridal shower because like literally last minute, maybe like a week before them planning the bridal shower, they asked me if I could host it, and honestly I had no problem with hosting it. It's whatever, like, hosting is what I do. However, that was the only thing I was asked to do, and that was the only thing anyone else was asked to do. No one was asked to bring drinks, bring food, bring decorations, plan anything, brainstorm games, nothing. And I was confused as to what this place was gonna look like. Rochelle was confused, Tasha was confused, Danielle was on a cruise. Like, Everybody was confused because, again, nothing was brought up to any of us. The only thing that was relayed is, hey, we're having a bridal shower. This is the time for setup, da-da-da-da. And mind you, that was all the way in like the end of June. And this bridal shower is gonna be at the end of July. That's about it. And having a month to plan, set up, and coordinate all of that with everybody is not a lot of time. Especially because from what I understand, like, we don't even know what the other side is doing. And then come to find out, fast forward, the other side, okay, aka Becca's side, is beefing with us because they think that we've done everything and we're not allowing them any space to plan anything. What did I just tell y'all? Up until this point, what did I just tell y'all? Comment down below. We don't know nothing that's going on. They think that the bridesmaids have done everything for this wedding up until this point. They think that the bridesmaids have taken over the bridal shower. So much so that they didn't even know they were invited, guys. What did I just tell y'all? We didn't even know what the shit was about to look like. We didn't know what the decorations were gonna look like. We didn't know nothing. All we were told was that there's gonna be a bridal shower. And I'm sitting here just like, what the hell? Mind y'all, like I said, I slept at Becca and Dessy's house, okay? Like, they live together. After my whole event with the kids, I ended up sleeping in her house, and I got there late. I got there at like 12 at night. Meanwhile, we have Farrah and Suki who were setting up at the venue, like late at night, the night before, which, to be honest, I wasn't even aware they were setting up that night before. I thought the setup was gonna be the next morning, early morning before the show, whatever. But even if I wanted to go that night, I couldn't, because I was there at 12 at night for my kids' show, okay? Because we had to clean up and get the kids away to, you know, to their parents and all of that. So I got to Dessy's house and we're, you know, going to sleep and shit. And the next morning, that's when I'm talking to Becca and she's like, yeah, like, I'm not happy. My bridesmaids aren't happy. They think you guys are taking over and, you know, you guys haven't been giving anyone the opportunity to do anything. And I'm like, who's y'all? Yo, when I'm telling you, Becca, I don't even know what the fuck I'm about to walk into to set up. I don't even know when the hell setup is anymore because they told us one message a month ago. So who knows? Setup could have been changed. Like, I need to find out when setup is. And then Dessy asks me specifically, like, hey, honestly, I don't even know what's going on either, but I need to make sure the liquor is good. So I actually ordered drinks that I know are going to be good from this vendor that also supplied drinks for the engagement party. Would you mind waiting for them here and bring them to the venue so you can put in the freezer? I said, okay, cool. So I go and I type in to the group chat, like, hey guys, what time is setup? Literally just trying to confirm the setup. Let me grab my iced coffee for this shit. Because this is when I was like, you know what? Bitch is trying me. Bitch is trying me. Actually, let me go because I don't want nobody putting words in my mouth. Let me make sure that I go. And I'm gonna make sure I pull all the screenshots too, because I know people gonna try to act like they didn't do something, they didn't say nothing. I'm gonna do it right now. Let me just rewind a bit, all right? A lot of things that they were doing were annoying. Not only did they not ask for help, but they consistently sat there and were doing shit, running around with their heads cut off like chickens. What the fuck is the saying? Y'all know what I mean. Like, they were sitting there doing things mad last minute, but then like y'all didn't ask for help. So one, they needed somebody to pick up the cake. Why are y'all asking now for somebody to pick up the cake? I clearly couldn't pick up the cake because I'm at Dessy's house. Why would we want to spoil it and have her see the cake? And also, where's the cake gonna be? The cake need to be picked up at like 10 o'clock. Let me see, what does this say? 10 or 10 till 11? The event is like at 6, 7 o'clock. The cake is gonna melt. It is hot. And her freezer is not big enough for the cake. I had to wait in the house for the alcohol. So it just didn't make sense. And mind you, that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. It was just like, why is it like y'all don't ask for help and then y'all need all these last minute things and then y'all expect people to do things? And it wasn't, again, this wasn't the only thing. It was the balloons, it was balloon arts, it was decorations, it was this, it was that. And this is like a month's worth of planning. Why wasn't this thought out way in advance? I'm literally doing a 3-week intensive program. Like, this shit is every single day. I'm waking up at 5 a.m., getting home at 7 p.m. So I'm sleep. I'm barely looking at this chat. When I am, I'm like, I can't even help. Like, I'm so tired, I can't. So now this shit happens, right? So I said, what time is venue set up, right? Rochelle says, I'm going to try to get there for 3. Suki says, venue setup as previously mentioned will be 11:30, 12. I will be there from 11 a.m. Bring any items, balloon arch, alcohol, plates, cups that were discussed earlier conversations to the venue. Thanks. That shit instantly pissed me off. Absolutely Absolutely nothing was ever discussed. Cross my heart and hope to die. If I could sit here and put every single piece of conversation in this video, I would. There was never anybody that said they was bringing a balloon arch. There was never anyone that said they were bringing plates. There was never anyone saying they was bringing alcohol, for that matter. As a matter of fact, Suki, you sat here and called someone last minute, I'm not gonna say who, I'm not gonna say on what side, asking for alcohol to be contributed to the party, who wasn't even planning on coming, who still last minute contributed alcohol to the party. Nobody in this chat ever said they were bringing alcohol. So what are you talking about? Nobody ever said they were bringing any of these things. Nobody ever said that. So I was just like, what are you talking about? And what are you, who? It's the as previously mentioned for me. The only thing that was ever mentioned was literally a whole month ago. No one ever followed up on anything. No one ever, so that shit irked me. It irked me. You guys haven't been asking for anything. You guys haven't mentioned anything. You guys haven't been clear on any type of communication. So when that shit was put there, I was just like, the Rochelle said, yeah, I had to scroll back to the only conversation held on July 1st. Ladies, where's everyone? I feel like it's the only same three of us always talking. I don't want to be mean, but this has been an ongoing thing and it's disheartening, sad face. I thought, okay, see that Rochelle understand where I'm coming from, because it's disheartening and it's confusing and it don't make any sense. How the hell are you talking about bring all of that? What stuff? Yo, that shit had me peaked. That shit had me peaked. I'm like, yo, what are you talking about? What are you talking, like, y'all? And what really makes me bad about this is I literally had to go off. I had to extend the olive branch to Farrah when I realized that they weren't reaching out to anyone for help before all of this. I had to call her up and be like, hey, do you need anything? You guys haven't been saying anything to anyone. You haven't been reaching out. Do you guys need anything? I had to remind her about soft drinks. Why wasn't it just communicated to someone, whether on Becca's side or in the bridesmaid party, that you need soft drinks? I don't know. She just decided to go get them herself. But you see what I'm talking about? Why did I have to call you for that? You're the maid of honor. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I said, thanks for the information. Due to the lack of communication and collaborative effort, I was asking to get clarification in case anything changed. That's all I said, y'all. That's all I said. Rochelle says, yeah, I'll be there around 3 with the Jello shots. Suki says, nothing has changed. Any changes would have been brought up in this chat, so it's still the same time for meetup. As for collaborative effort, the chat is open for any ideas or thoughts we may have to contribute towards the event. Any suggestions we had were brought up. With that being said, I'll see you guys soon. Do you know who the fuck I am? Like, do you know who the fuck I am? Like, I will literally slap the shit out of you. I don't know if she needs to Google me, but she should've. She should've. Because literally, like, I was literally in Dessy's house. Like, literally, I will literally hit you. I was like, who the fuck is this girl? Like, I literally, cause again, when I'm telling y'all we didn't know who each other was, it was to the point like we never even seen each other face to face. She could have been at the engagement party and I just didn't know who she was, or I didn't give a fuck to know who she was, because I'm like, hey yo, who this Suki girl? She's like, oh, that's my cousin. I was like, well, tell your cousin to fucking relax, I'll slap the shit out of her. Like, I literally said that specifically because who the fuck is she talking to? And then that's when I finally had to tell Dessy what the fuck was going on. And the reason I really didn't say anything up to that point is because when this specific group chat was made, these idiots were like, don't tell Dessy anything that goes on in this chat. And I should have never listened to y'all dumbasses. Because now look, I was like, she need to watch who the fuck she's talking to. Because then she gonna end this shit with a little face. What's about it? I'll make it real quick. What's about it? Bitch, ask about me. I will slap you, no fucking hesitation. I don't like when I'm nice to people and they take my niceness for weakness. What did I say that warranted this cheeky response? Don't get cheeky with me because I'll slap those cheeks off your face. Who are you talking to? Come see about me. So I said the trivialities are not necessary, especially close to the date. I asked for simple clarification, again, due to the lack of collaborative effort, etc. I got it, it ends there. Don't speak to me in a way or give me energy I did not give you. The chat is open, however, when a few people are doing any and everything alone without specifically asking for help, giving details, or asking for input, it feels one-sided, especially last minute when things are being discussed. Period. Because what I could have said is, bitch, who the fuck is you? Don't talk to me like that. I'm not the one. I'll see you at 11 o'clock. That's what I could have said. That's what I really wanted to say. That's what I was saying to Dessy. Like, I will see your fucking cousin at 11 o'clock. Who the fuck she talking to? And Becca's like, no, I like her. I really like her. Stop. I'm like, Becca, I don't give a fuck. I'm so fucking mad. So bad. I was so bad. And then Danielle started feeling some type of way. And she's like, there's only 5 people in the chat. And as mentioned before, I will not be in attendance today because I'm out the country. So she started feeling like she was being subbed. And now freaking Rochelle had to hit her up on the side. Was like, nah, I wasn't subbing you. Like, you know, like it was just them because like they're doing everything on their own. So they had their own little thing on the side. I was just like, Jesus Christ, this is too much. So Rochelle is like, yeah, I made this based off of who said they were going on the Bachelorette. The plan without Dessy or anyone annoying those not going. Either way, both chats are the same, but safe travels, have fun. So Danielle says, I'm definitely going to be at the weekend getaway. Can't wait to hang out with y'all. And I said, I'm heading to the place now with the drinks. Rochelle said, my apologies, y'all. Things are way behind on my end. Now that's at 1:30. I had already pulled up to the place. Now we're gonna get into Rochelle a little bit later because child Rochelle done messed up my crusade, okay? And we're gonna get back into this group chat after. So one thing about me, my mama ain't raised no bitch. Okay, my mama ain't raised no bitch, and I keep that same energy. So I pulled up to the venue and I said, first of all, I pulled up in my shades. Okay, so if I had my shades right here, I would, but I'm not about to do all that. So I pulled in my shades. I said, hello, Farrah. Started unloading the drinks, put them in the whatever. Looked at Suki and I said, so what was you saying in the chat? Oh, Ivana, that's not what it was. I wasn't trying to come at you. In the chat, I said, yes, you was. And I don't like that. I was being extremely nice. I have absolutely no idea what that was about. Oh, nah, no, it wasn't even like she was literally sitting here trying to walk it back. Like, no, it wasn't even like that. Like, you know, we talked about setup being at 11, whatever. I was like, you guys have been doing everything by yourselves. No communication has been relayed regarding what needs to be done, what's going to be done, what has to be done after the fact. It was a one-time message. I was asking for clarification. The attitude, the trivialities, all of that, it don't need to be done. Do not talk to me the way I don't talk to you. Don't give me energy that I don't give you. She's like, no, it wasn't even like that. You know, I know you feel like I was coming to you. Like, Ivana, I'm trying to talk to you. I'm trying to talk. I said, again, don't talk to me. Like, it was literally like, I'm talking to, she's like, no, but I was like, and again, don't talk to me the way I wasn't talking to you. Nonetheless, I'm just gonna say right now, there are people that are upset and they feel like we're taking over a whole process that clearly we're not taking over. It's you guys that are doing every single thing by yourselves, and it's not okay and it doesn't look good. This is gonna end up being a very big mess, specifically because you guys feel like you have to do everything yourself. And at the end of it, I don't want to hear that you guys pulled all the way and blah, 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 when you guys decided to take on every single thing by yourselves and be martyrs. And they're like, no, but you know, we put everything out there and no one wanted to do this, that, and the third. It's like, no, you guys didn't ask. So if we don't know what needs to be done, we're not gonna do it. You guys are the head of this. You guys are the maid and the matron of honor. The maid and matron of honor who actually happens to be family at that, don't say that things need to be done. They're not going to get done. People are not going to go out on a limb and go and basically go over the heads of family at that to do things, because at the end of the day, you guys are the head of this. So, and they're like, no, but we're not like that. We're not like that. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. Okay, like you may not be like that. You could say you're not like that, but it doesn't look good when you guys just keep doing things in silence. I had to call Farrah to get the lowdown of what was going on, and I reminded her about some things, which is good, but I shouldn't have to call. And she's like, yeah, but like, even like, you know, we put out like a Amazon wish list or whatever for Dessy's this, that, and the third. You were the only one that looked at it. I'm like, well, I mean, I guess, right? Like, I get it, but still, like, if you guys need something, you guys have to say that you need it. You guys have to put it out there like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. There's people on Becca's side that just found out that they're invited to the bridal shower. Why does that make sense? Well, you know, then you got freaking Suki. Oh, well, you know, when it comes to, you know, that, I don't know. Well, you know, Becca didn't even tell me about people on her side. Like, I had texted her and she didn't even answer. Make it make sense. I'm like, what? And you know, I forgot to tell Becca about that shit. Maybe I'll tell her before this video dropped, but I was like, wait, that's weird. You asked for the contacts. I mean, I find that hard to believe, because how did you get the contact to get alcohol from the people for the party. Sounds like a lie to me, but hey, what do I know? So I'm just like, oh, listen, I don't fucking know. So the whole time we're talking, I'm thinking this whole thing is solved. I'm like, okay, I understand. He's like, and then, you know, where's Rochelle? Why Rochelle not here? At that point, I'm like, fuck. Me and Rochelle been talking this whole time, okay? Me and Rochelle, we've been, you know, like, yeah, they're really doing everything by themselves. Like, you know, like, what the fuck? Like, ja. This whole time, we're forgetting the fact that the sisters should be involved in this, but we're thinking, okay, they're the sisters. Like, they clearly must have a more involved role. Come to find, Danielle's been basically paying for mostly everything, so there's her role. And Tasha is the younger sister, and she basically is the younger sister. Like, she's young, so she can't really do much financially, but she's being supportive and things like that. And she wasn't really added to the mix of the Bachelorette situation until later on. And she has a lot going on in general. So, I mean, I don't know. She supports her whole another way. So, I don't know why she didn't come to setup, to be honest, because she wasn't there either. But my thing that it makes sense is why Rochelle wasn't at setup. So, I'm going back to back like, hey, y'all need to involve people in the planning, in the execution, in the setup shit, and she not even there. I'm sitting here like, yeah, you know, like, y'all need to do this, y'all need to do that, and I'm in the back of my head, I'm like, where the fuck is Rochelle? I'm like, yeah, you know, I get it, like, but I didn't understand where they were coming from. Like, for them, they're seeing it as, you know, we're putting things down and nobody's answering. But my thing is, if nobody's answering, allegedly, which wasn't the case, there was absolutely nothing in that fucking chat. So I don't know what they're talking about. If nobody's answering, so to speak, why is it that some way, somehow, all these things are getting done, but we never knew about it? Okay, so for example, we get to the venue, right? So the venue is owned by their family. Dessy's father owns like an event venue, and it has like literally Party City in the back. Whatever it is that you need, they got it, from balloon arcs to decorations, centerpieces, all of that, tablecloth. So basically they had everything that they needed in the venue. Like, they didn't really need to go buy anything. And on top of that, Dessy gave them specific things that she really wanted to use at the bridal shower that she didn't get to use at the engagement party. And sadly, they didn't use it. Again, I didn't know anything about it. Neither did Rochelle, neither did Tasha, and Danielle wasn't here. I don't know if Danielle knew about it, but it's funny because she tells me about this later on. But I'm like, see? Lack of communication. Y'all don't say nothing to nobody, because I didn't know nothing about these things that you specifically wanted to be used that didn't get used. Like, what? Why is nobody opening their mouths about things? So it's just like, I was walking into that venue, I didn't know what colors were gonna be used. I didn't know what decorations was gonna be used. And you know, they were like, oh, well, we didn't know what was gonna be used either. You know, we just used what was in the back. And I'm like, that's poor planning. Why didn't y'all know what you guys already had back here? Why didn't you guys pick a color scheme? Like, it just doesn't really make any goddamn sense to me. So whatever, everything gets planned, whatever. So I'm hosting the event, right? Why do I not have an itinerary? Why do I not have a timeline? I had to wing it the whole damn day. I didn't know what games were gonna be played. Where we asked what games we should play? No, they came up with the games all by themselves. Then they realized they have to go buy prizes. Who went out to go buy the prizes? Suki. Why, since freaking Rochelle was gonna be coming late as hell anyway, why didn't they just ask Rochelle to go get the prizes? You see what I'm talking about? Teamwork makes the dream work. Since the freaking bridesmaids were going to be late as hell because they just got the late ass notification that they were gonna be coming, or that they were invited, why couldn't they go get the prizes? Like, you see where, y'all see what I'm putting down? Like, the lack of collaboration, the lack of initiative, the lack of trying to even invite other people or let other people participate is just there. And I understand their argument is, well, nobody cared to reach out and ask. It's lackluster to me. I don't, like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you guys are in charge. You have to delegate the fucking work. No one is gonna be able to ask what needs to be done if they don't know what's going on. Okay, I didn't know there was even going to be prizes. I didn't know it was gonna be games. I thought it was gonna be a traditional bridal shower. Party, shake your ass, eat, and leave. Okay? I didn't even know we needed a host. I was like, what we need a host for? We didn't have a host for the engagement party? Because it was literally party, shake your ass, here are my bridesmaids and my bridesmates, and leave. So what do we need all that for? So whatever. Everything goes great. I thought it was really cute. She didn't even sit in her throne. It was very interesting. Like, they really had a whole throne and stuff for her, which again her dad had. And it was nice for me. I thought like it was really, really cute. I thought it was set up really nicely. But then we got home, and I will say Dessy looked a little disappointed. And I was confused. I was like, I thought it was cute. I really thought that she liked it. I'm not even gonna lie, like I really did. I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, it was great, it was nice, but I think for her, it was more so the fact that, you know, a lot of people didn't bring gifts as they should. Like, I don't understand how people go to like wedding type of things and they don't bring gifts. Like, you're supposed to bring a gift, monetarily at least, like, you know, supposed to bring one. But they didn't do anything. And also she was like, yeah, there's a lot of things that I told them to include that I didn't see. Like there was a cake topper I told them to include that they didn't use. And I'm like, cake topper? It's like, yeah. I'm like, see, I ain't know nothing about no cake topper. Again, your cousins took over everything and they didn't include anybody in anything. So I ain't know nothing about that. If I knew about a cake topper, I would have made sure there was a cake topper, you know, that used. Like, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, it was weird. Like, and she was like, you know, there was this, there was the this, and there was a, I'm like, oh, what? Like, it was so weird. And it was interesting. And I know there was more that she wanted to say, but again, like I said in the beginning, like Dessy kind of has a habit of like not really speaking up for herself sometimes, or just kind of biting the bullet when she feels like it might cause a problem. But to be honest, no, she should have called all of us out in that moment. But in that case, that wasn't all of our fault, because I didn't even know there was shit that she asked to be used. Then we ended up having to take hella liquor to her house. Like, bro, she got a stocked ass bar at home. She's like, I don't understand how they sat here and they called somebody on Becca's side to contribute to liquor. Meanwhile, they weren't even going to come to the party because they didn't know that they were invited, but they barely even used the liquor because people didn't even know that the liquor was available. And I'm just like, wait, what? That's when I found out all the shit for real. And I'm like, wait. They had a whole bartender there though. Literally. Farrah's sister was the bartender, but she wasn't even fucking bartending. So again, the bullshit. This the bullshit that I'm fucking talking about. And then let's not mention, okay? Let's not forget to mention Rochelle, okay? Let's go back to Rochelle real quick. So Rochelle left me stranded to basically confront these girls about their lackluster performance and hogging of the planning of all of this, only to show up at the party at say 8 o'clock when the party started at like 6. I came late, as well as the bride, and I'm the host and the bride is the bride. Why the hell did Rochelle pull up at 8 and she said she was gonna be there at 3 or whatever time she said she was gonna be there? She was supposed to be there at setup, y'all. Rochelle ain't pull up. Now, to her defense, her house was under construction. She had to supervise the construction. She had a hair issue. She had a mechanic issue. She had 99 problems, and her life was all of them. You're gonna see that as a theme for the rest of this story as well. This is gonna end up being 2 parts. I swear to God it is. She had a lot of problems. Okay, let me just say that. When it came to Rochelle literally pulled up mad late to the party, y'all. Like, didn't do anything, sat down, and I don't know what it was, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if it's the intuition, but as soon as Rochelle showed up, Farrah and Suki ain't say shit to her. I think Farrah kind of gave her a hi, but like, again, since we don't really know each other and we didn't know what each other looked like, freaking Rochelle came up to me, she's like, wait, who is who? And I'm like, oh, well, that's Farrah and that's Suki. And I'm like, shit, like we really don't know what each other is, like who each other is. The only reason I know who Farrah and Suki was because clearly I already know who Farrah was. I was like, okay, clearly that's Suki. And there's only 3 of us in the venue. And let me not forget to mention, nobody checked up on Rochelle this entire time that she didn't show up. She said she was gonna show up around, I don't know, I don't remember the time, but she was supposed to show up at setup. Nobody checked in to see what was going on with her, why she wasn't there. And maybe it's just me, I'm a girl's girl. Yeah, I'll slap a bitch, but when it comes to like a girl not showing up at a time that she says she was, or even if it's just a person, I'm a person's person, I guess. Like if you're supposed to be somewhere with me or somewhere at the same time as me and you don't show up, I'm gonna like see like, what's up? Like, hey, are you okay? Hey, what's going on? The whole time I'm like, hey, are you okay? And she's giving me updates like, hey, something's going on with my house. Hey, something's going on, like I can't come. Hey, later da. And also there was something going on where like I'm putting up decorations and we needed tape and we couldn't go out to get tape. It would have took too long. It was a whole lot of shit. And I'm like, hey, like when you come, can you bring tape? She was taking forever. So I was kind of annoyed, like, Rochelle, are you ever gonna fucking come? Like, are you ever gonna fucking come? So like the whole time I'm texting her, nobody bothered to text her. Nobody bothered to, you know, put in the chat like, hey, when are you coming? Hey, what's up? And listen, they're not like her friends. I get it. She's not my friend either. I met her at the dress fitting, but still, she's not my friend either. That's Dessy's friend. But I'm a considerate person. That's why, like, low-key, when people be trying to say I'm mean, I'm like, no, I don't think I'm mean. But I'm very considerate. Like, you see somebody's not here, you see that they said they were on their way, they were coming, anything could have fucking happened to her. Like, she could have gotten in a car accident, somebody could have snatched the girl up. Maybe I'm thinking worst case scenario, but again, one of us is supposed to be here and they're not. They're supposed to be bringing something and it's not here. Even if it's just Jello shots, why is it not in your innate instinct to say, oh shit, Rochelle not here, let's see what's going on? I don't know. Another occurring thing that you're gonna see for the rest of this video, which I guess in this case is gonna end up being 2 parts because it's getting a little too long now. So again, I'm texting her, I'm getting the updates, but low-key it starts getting to a point where I'm like, girl, are you ever gonna fucking get here? She doesn't make it to setup. She finally pulls up. She doesn't get a greeting from anyone. I'm the only one that really greets her. Farrah kind of greets her. She says hi to each of them. She sits down. She doesn't necessarily do much, but I didn't want them to like grill her or say anything to her. So while I was hosting and like introducing the games, I gave her the games to hand out because I was like, girl, you can't just look useless in the fucking corner, because if they start saying something, I can't save you from this because you didn't come to fucking set up. You was talking all that shit, had me sitting here doing this shit by myself, and you come at 8 o'clock, girl. So I would give her like the games to hand out, like, okay guys, Rochelle's going to hand out these games to you guys and the prize is here, da 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 da. Rochelle's holding it up. Like, I had to like make her a little poster child real quick. So that's what she ended up doing. And then bitch gonna leave the party early, y'all. I was just like, yo, Rochelle, you are not helping your case. You're not helping my case. Like, I can't help you anymore. So I will say, after that situation, they didn't like Rochelle. I feel like after that situation, they were just like, yeah, Rochelle's on the shit list, because how you gonna talk all this shit, talk about communication, talk about, you know, helping and all of that, but this is what you do. You talk a big game, but you're not about it. And I'm telling you right now, from that point on, it was a wrap. From that point on, it was a done diddly deal. From that point on, you can't be fucking serious. Use a joke. All right, y'all. Sorry if everything looked a little different. I had to hop on a therapy session, so let's hop back into it. Like I said, I knew that after the bridal shower, shit was gonna go awry. Specifically because I realized that it's brighter here. 2 seconds, let me turn off the light. Get the light in the way it was. Ah, perfect. I knew that after the bridal shower, shit was gonna go awry. I knew that shit wasn't sweet because not only, again, did they not check up on her, and when she showed up, they didn't say hi to her. She had to say hi to them, and they didn't really meet her with the same energy. I had to give her things to do. She showed up late, she left early. But then the next morning, the shade, okay? The shade in the group chat was interesting to say the least. So let's get back to the messages now, shall we? Next morning, Suki says, hey ladies, bridal shower was a success. Everyone had a great time. Ivana, thank you for hosting. You did an amazing job. And a special thank you to Farrah for being my right-hand man. Couldn't have done this without you. Bachelorette weekend is approaching. Please look into purchasing your tickets if you haven't already done so. I looked into the Bayou tours that she wants to do, and they're between $50 to $60 per person. That's with pickup and drop off. I found some places for us to eat and hang out in the evening. If you have any suggestions or ideas on other things we can do to make this trip enjoyable, please bring them forward. On that note, enjoy the rest of your afternoon. As you guys see, absolutely nothing to Rochelle. Nothing to Tasha either, but with all due respect, all Tasha did was come to clean up, as she should, because she didn't even come to set up. But it's like, yikes. So Rochelle ignored it, but later on Rochelle brought it up to me that clearly she felt some type of way, but it was like, yikes. I was like, okay, this is very interesting. I'm looking at this, like, all right, clearly there's some shade here, but I was like, you know what? She brushed it aside. Nothing's here. You know, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I thought thought that, you know, bygones were left being bygones until the Bachelorette situation ended up happening. And when I tell y'all it was the worst weekend ever, it was the worst weekend ever. It ends up being that the trip was supposed to be 7 of us, including the bride, but it was going to end up being 6 of us because something happened where Rochelle ended up getting bit by a dog and her dog was attacked and she had to put up a hefty amount of money for the vet bill. And she was also going to be in Grenada for Carnival, so she also had to pay for that. So we didn't know if she was gonna come or not, so the bill ended up getting split 2 different ways, whether she was coming or not coming. But we're gonna talk about the bill in part 2 because it's gonna be very funny, because whether you splice it by 6 or 7, there's an extra bit of money that's floating around that no one has seen back in their bank accounts, and it's like nobody wants to say anything about it, and I'm not gonna say anything because at that point I'm really gonna have to slap somebody. So it is what it is, whatever. I really don't plan on talking or seeing or speaking to any of these bitches ever again, with the exception of Rochelle and Dessy. Like, everybody else like literally needs to stay the fuck away from me. Like, that's how annoyed I am by this situation, because like, y'all, in part 2 you're gonna see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's just say that you don't want to miss part 2 because the Bachelorette trip was an utter shit show. Okay, utter shit show. This video started to get a little bit too long. Please let me know what you guys think so far about part 1 and what you guys already know is gonna happen in part 2. With that being said, like, share, subscribe, do all that for those of you guys who are watching in 12 Days of Storytime. And for those of you guys who are watching on Patreon, thank you guys so much for always supporting me. Make sure you guys tell a friend to tell a friend who's a subscriber to join the Patreon, because what is you doing? And make sure you guys go on the Discord if you are not already on the Discord, so you guys can be updated on everything that's going on before it comes to video. Love you guys so very much. I'll see y'all in the next one.